And being originally from Finland, that's also very weird to me. Yes. I don't know if you chose it, but it is my country's national hymn. It's
To Finlandia.
yeah, Finlandia by Sibelius, and it's actually that part references the rise of the nationalism after the Russian oppression. So I know that the word's a little different, but it's still very pretty. So I was asked to talk about my experiences with international exchanges, and I can truly say that if I had not been an exchange student when I was a teenager, I would not be standing here in front of you and talking about it, because it had a long-lasting effect to the extent that I chose to come to the United States and eventually even actually becoming a citizen. So my story goes back a long time. In 1979, I was a 16-year-old high school student in Nashville, Tennessee. So my exchange student experience was very much of a Southern experience. I stayed for the year in a Baptist family, and that was another interesting insight into Southern culture. I went to church with them 3 times a week until I negotiated it down to 2. But the parents and my siblings were lovely. I had a family that really cared for me, and I cared for them. They were so full of love, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot about America. I learned a lot about being a family, and those ties lasted for a very long time, and there's still ties with my my American sisters. My host parents unfortunately passed away quite young, at 56 and 62, and something that was really important to my experience, that I was so much a part of that family. I was already studying in Virginia at the time that they passed away, so I went back to their funeral, and everyone welcomed me to sit with the family. So that was really meaningful. So that really created a sense of being part of their family, and I'm still keeping in touch. It also opened the world up in a way that I probably would not have had a chance being a 16-year-old in Finland. I met other exchange students during that year, and they became also lifelong friends. And I became very good friends with an Australian exchange student whom I visited after I graduated from high school, and we're still friends now in our 50s. So that's again been something that I would not have had an experience with had I not done the exchange. And then on the other hand, my experience being a host mother was quite insightful to host a 16-year-old young woman from Germany 2 years ago, Leah. We kind of hurried up and chose her from a number of available students who were still at the very end of the summer without families. So we chose Leah not knowing anything really, but it turned out to be a wonderful experience. And being a host mother to a 16-year-old, I all of a sudden saw how my host mother in Nashville, Tennessee, had responded to things that came up with a young teenager. And I sort of experienced myself channeling my host mother, who's been gone for quite a while, and seeing myself as someone, in Leah, as someone who's experiencing new things. So I felt like the circle has been completed in some ways, that I've given back all the love and all the care and all the investment that the American family made in me, and then I was able to pass on to Leah, and I'm hoping that she will one day do the same.
So when we decided to get an exchange student, it was kind of out of the blue. My parents, they sent me a bunch of files and they said, here, you should pick one of these. I decided to pick a girl named Leah, who was really, from her profile, it sounded like she was really nice, and she said she liked kids and stuff, so I thought it would be cool to have her come and live with us. But then when we were preparing for Leah, we had to do various things, like the room she was staying in, we had to see if she could escape out of this small window in the top corner of the room in case there was a fire. So we had our friend's exchange student come, and we took pictures of her halfway through the window. And various things like that. And it was really cool because I was in such anticipation. I was like, I'm getting a sister for the first time in my life because I'm an only child. And she was an only child too, so it was a new experience for her as well. And it was just really nervousing, and it was really interesting. And when it was time for us to pick her up from the airport, I was like a nervous wreck. I was full of jitters, and when she came, we were driving back from Salt Lake, and I was telling her anything that popped into my mind. I told her the whole plot of the book I was reading, and all the stuff that I like to do, and she was just really jet lagged and just sat kind of quietly. But it was really interesting to see all the cultural differences of her life in Germany. I know this is weird, but for example, I drink milk at dinner, and she didn't drink milk at dinner because she said that was really weird. And stuff like that. I think that having a sister and having this experience kind of opened my eyes to different cultures and stuff in the world, and it made me kind of when I'm old enough, I really want to do this. I really want to go to a different country and study there because of her example, and I think in a way that's pretty cool. Thank you.
When he said to turn off the electronic devices, I panicked. I'm like, my talk is on my tablet. Don't have it printed.
You have a dispensation.
I'm a nerd. I've got to have that. My name is Harold Clements, and you did pronounce it right. Thank you. That was good. And I've been asked to talk about my experiences with the exchange program. And my experiences date a long time back. My family hosted an Indian placement student a long time ago for a couple of years, and it was a good experience. I only had one sister, so it was kind of another sister in the house. And my wife and I, we met when we were 12 years old, basically about 7th grade. And we had exchange student friends, especially in high school. And then when high school ended, we went our separate ways. And then about 7 years ago, she was investigating hosting a German exchange student for about 6 weeks. And my daughter wanted to do the same thing. And at the time, I was divorced, and I went to them and I said, "Now wait a minute, are you sure this is going to be okay?" And they were like, "Yes, no, this will be great." And so we set a time, or we had to go to an orientation meeting, and I ran into Pam, who is now my wife, at this orientation meeting, and we were just like, wow, this is neat, you're doing this too. And we sat down next to each other, and they started handing out the information, and they'd bring it over to us, and they'd see that we were sitting together, and sitting apparently too close for strangers, and so they would only give us one copy between the two of us. So, no, wait a minute, we need two. But that was kind of our start in, we were married about a year later. So it was really neat. We ended up hosting in my home a gal from Germany by the name of Charlotte, and it was a lot of fun. It was eye-opening. It was difficult. There is a language barrier, but it was a lot of fun. And now through modern social media, we're able to kind of keep in touch. She's from Germany. We kept in touch through the World Cup, and she was very happy when Germany won the World Cup. And I've been able to kind of watch her go through the different schooling and grow up. It's been really neat, and she has maintained that contact. So Pam and I have a lot of, we have children, 5 between the two of us, between the ages of 15 and 24. And at the beginning of the summer, we were talking about doing the exchange program, or even maybe before that. And at the beginning of that summer, because of jobs and children living elsewhere, there was one 23-year-old son living in the house, and that was it. So we were pretty much empty nesters, and we decided, let's really dig into this. And so we started looking into it, met with Barbara. I spoke to Cliff, who I knew had done this. We went through the process and decided. And it was a decision that we made. We decided that we were going to host him, that we were going to host a foreign exchange student. We didn't know who or what, and that was to come later, but it was a decision. It was a decision based on love. It was based on sharing our home, sharing our family with somebody else. And we spoke to all of our children, and we let them all know, this is what we would like to do, and they all agreed. We explained that we don't really know everything that's going to happen. I cannot fully prepare you, but we're committed to this, and we're going to make this the best year that we possibly can. And that's how we have moved forward. We received the applications. We felt very lucky to be able to get Antoine. He has fit wonderfully into our home. It's given us the opportunity to go out and revisit things close to us. If you just stop and think, well now, if I was going to be in this area for 1 year, what would I want to see? Or in our case with Antoine, should we show him? So places like Yellowstone and the Grand Canyon and Zion's Park, they've all been places that we've already gone. And it's been fun to see them again and to show him very unique places around here. So as you're going to listen to him talk here in just a second, I want you to imagine just a second. Try and put yourself back to those wonderful, wonderful, selfish teenage years that we all had. Okay? Imagine the thought of leaving your home for a year. You can carry along, a couple of pieces of luggage, but beyond that, you're pretty much going to leave everything. You're leaving all your friends. You're going to a foreign country. You know everything that the news media has to tell you about that foreign country. you have this soon-to-be dispelled belief that you understand the language. That comes later. By the way, we do not speak English, we speak American, okay? And it is very different than English. And we had to understand that. You're moving to a place, a new home. You have no idea what it's going to be like. You might be able to see some pictures, but I don't know. New food, new customs, new rules. Rules in the house. Is it okay to do that? Is it not okay to do that? Do we eat before we pray? Do we pray before we eat? What do we do? So, the decision that these exchange students make to be willing to go out and do this is not a year-long vacation. Antoine's schooling stopped when he left France. He is going to school. He is attending class. He has to make sure that his grades are up and working and well, and that he's trying his hardest. And none of those credits count for anything in school back in France. Doesn't count towards university or anything like that, but he has committed to do that. So these children, these teenagers who put themselves out to be willing to do this are a special type of student. They're a special type of person who is willing to come and do this. Antoine has blessed our home. We have had a lot of great experiences with him. We have had some struggles. We made crepes like his grandma made, which was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of stirring. It was a fork, and it was two of us for about an hour. But they were delicious. They were really good. So, anybody who has any inkling, I invite you to investigate this program. Investigate it, look at how you could possibly support it, because it is a great way to share your love and your homes with people in this world. And I thank you very much.
Hi.
Bonjour.
So I'm Antoine, Antoine Lebrun. So I'm 17. I'm an exchange student from France. So first of all, my brother went 3 years ago in was an exchange student 3 years ago in Nevada, close to Las Vegas, and he really enjoyed it. When he came home, he told me lots of stories about his trip. And during this year, we decided to, we had a girl from Poland for 3 months in my house, and she was really nice. She was really nice. My mother loved her. I think it's I have only one brother, so I think it's the fact that we had one other girl in the house. She really liked it, and yeah, she was nice. We learned a little bit of her culture, of Poland culture. My dad learned some words that he still used, like a toast, but I don't know what to say, but I know he knows it, and he still used when we are in family, and so it's funny to remember all this memory about her. After we had a guy from the Paraguay, and him it was for 6 months. And the funny fact for him, it's in Paraguay it's very warm, and he hates sun. So in winter, when everybody was in coat and in scarf, he was in short and t-shirt, and nobody understood you. With him, it was a little bit harder than with the girl from Poland, because he didn't speak a lot. He didn't move with his friend, and he stayed in his room. For example, like he stayed 6 months, and when he came in France, he had like a gift for us, for my family, and he never gave us the gift. We found the gift the last day in his room. So we don't know if it's like a part of the culture, or I don't know. We never knew. It was just like strange to. He never gave us a gift. It was funny. My parents want to go like in 1 year or 2 years. They want to go in Poland to see her again. So yeah, we keep in touch with the Poland girl. So yeah, my brother went. Why I became an exchange student? I think the first thing is my brother. So he really pushed me to become an exchange student by all the stories and all this stuff. I think being an exchange student, it's like a unique experience. You can do this one time in your life, and you remember your whole life, what you did for this year. I met like other exchange, I met odd exchange students, and they all told me that I will be more mature when I will come back. So I think I will be. Yeah, for sure, like when you become an exchange student, it's a little bit for the language too. You learn a new language, and it's like in Europe, it's important to know English, so it's a plus for me. I learned a new way of life, a new culture. The first month is very. I was in shock. It's really, everything is different. You don't understand what's going on. You just see, you observe, and you do the same as they do. I really like Utah. I'm lucky that I have a good family. My dad speaks French. He was in mission in France, so I can speak a little bit in French with him when I struggle with some words. So it's really nice for me. I traveled a lot with my family, and I really like it. I like the landscape of Utah. It's very different as France. All the mountains, and you can see like far away. And in France, you can't. You see just buildings, and so it's very different, very nice. I met so many new people, and they are all very nice, very open with me. They help me, and it's very nice. Like I love it. And it can be strange for you, but here I love school. It's so much better than in France. People are like, the teachers are very great here. They are funny. They are like your friend a little bit. Not your friend, but they are like a lot more like friend. And the atmosphere is very different. It's very more. I don't know. It's better. So, and you have like you have all this stuff that we don't have in France, like the dance, the team of the school, like the basketball games, the football games, all this stuff we don't have in France, and it's good to see like everybody in the school are in unity, and it's good to see this. So I really like my experience here. Thanks.